I haven't listened to anything you've said in the last 20 seconds.
Damn it, Trevor. We had a shtick.
Line.
Two friends who hate each other.
Rude.
Talking science fiction.
It has become this cultural phenomenon.
Along with some special guests.
I appreciate what Star Trek did to me.
I would love to have this book get banned.
And that wasn't acting. That was real.
Do you know what our YouTube channel is?
Absolutely not. No win scenario.
With Trevor and Dawn.
Okay, we're not doing that.
Boom.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of No Win Scenario Podcast. I am Don Schechter, and with me, sitting silently and judging me, don't speak, is Trevor Chamberlain. Trevor, say hi.
Hello.
Don't speak. I'm mad at you because in the previous episode, you destroyed half of the No Win Scenario breaking news podcast-esque. What do you have to say?
What do I have to say?
Yeah. That hurt my feelings. And I have good news. I have good news to share. Are you ready for some good news?
Yes.
I cannot. Look at this. Atreides.
Yeah.
Little
Good movie.
good movie. The original Dune. But I have some good news today, Trevor.
Yes.
But how are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Hanging in there.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
How do I look?
Terrible.
Like I haven't slept in...
No, you look exhausted.
Yes, I am.
Yes. But I have good news because the first clip show that we ever did a couple episodes back was so successful that we're going to do it again.
I can't take that seriously.
It was so well received
Yeah.
by the person who saw it that we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And we're going to get all the guests from season 1 and 2 who we didn't have time
Right.
in that clip show and talk with them and talk with them. What am I saying? And hear from them the highlights of what they had to say. But before we do that, I've got a surprise for you.
A surprise.
A surprise for you. Are you ready for a surprise?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. And this has not been, well, clearly not rehearsed because it's not going to be good. But can you confirm that this says it's a Gmail address and it says no win scenario podcast at gmail.com? Can you confirm that? Oh, sorry. We need reading glasses from CVS.
I can confirm that.
You can confirm it. He confirms that. And look right here. What do you see right here in our inbox? What is it right there before you dive into it?
Vibes over victory?
No, what do you see? It's an email address.
I see an email.
And it is our first fan mail at no win scenario podcast
No
at
way.
gmail.com.
Oh,
He can smile. Look at that. He is smiling and he needs to read this out loud before. So read it out loud.
stumbled on your podcast.
Read it to the audience,
Hi,
please.
Trevor and Donald. Donald.
Yeah, my name's not Donald, first of all, but once I'll forgive it.
I stumbled on your podcast recently and have been enjoying it greatly. I have to admit.
Yes.
I literally thought that said annoying at first.
No.
I found it annoying it greatly. I had a few thoughts. Okay, so going right into...
We love our fans here. They're winners. The winners? Are we calling them the winners? No. Okay, continue reading. He has not seen this before. Keep reading.
When it comes to movie shows, I noticed Trevor has a very I bail in the first 10 minutes.
He bails in the first 10 minutes. See, our viewers are smart. They recognize this.
Or if there's a weird beach scene, kind of philosophy. I wonder when Donald makes recommendations for Trevor if he could maybe snip the show movie into a more palatable 15-minute summary for him.
Okay, so you kind of sped through that. So the gist was you never finish anything you started. We just recently had an interview with Lyson Hull, an editor from Paradise, and you admitted you had yet to finish that show. You finished Mickey 7 after our show about Mickey 7, and most shows you just stop watching. So they've noticed this, and they are demanding change.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Not going to happen. No.
To continue, I also noticed that Donald
Don't like that.
has a hard time not interrupting Trevor, even during Trevor's tangents.
Very bored.
One solution could be having Donald wear one of those dog shock collars.
Dog shock
and
collars.
Trevor can do a little zap when he gets interrupted.
Someone's been dating you.
I'd also like to bring this review to Don's attention because I think it might be time for him to reconsider his all-time favorite TV show.
Never.
Okay? And then he publishes a review from September 15th, 2024, 1.5 stars out of 5 stars.
You know what this is about.
I have a guess what this is about.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
No,
Did I say that
no,
right?
Not at all.
No.
It
It's about Babylon 5.
has to do with Babylon 5. Easily the most overrated sci-fi series to date.
False.
Ugly, bland sets that
False.
don't make you feel like you're in a giant floating cylinder in space, uninteresting characters, terrible dialogue, laughable CGI, filmed. Filmed, acted, and paced like General Hospital. All
It's wrong.
All true.
You've never seen more than 5 minutes of the show.
I've watched 5 episodes during COVID. The security chief is just a schlubby, overweight guy. Okay, that's mean. Overweight guy from Brooklyn with no.
It's too close to home.
With no characterization to make you believe this guy is from the future. Both captains are bland, dull, uninspiring men. Ivanova's character is completely
Ivanova.
whatever. Ham-fisted and cliche and terribly acted. All the aliens are mostly just depicting Eastern Europeans.
Okay, enough of the slander.
Or Western
Enough of the slander.
stereotype of them. I got halfway
Give me the
through
iPad back,
season
sir.
3. Overrated story told via TV production standards left over from the mid to late 80s. It doesn't matter if your story is written out beforehand. If the story is dull and poorly acted.
Give me the iPad back. I am trying to physically restrain Trevor from
And then
reading more about
calls
this.
up and says, just some thoughts. Can't wait for season 3. You're a singular Canuck fan.
Singular Canuck fan.
Yep.
That's Canada.
Yep.
We are global. We are global.
I love that email.
Especially that the Trevor will bail in the first 10 minutes of everything.
And I'll continue to do
You will
that.
continue to do so. Well,
Yep.
thank you.
When we finally watch
Vibes over victory. Thank you so much.
Megalopolis together, I have a feeling that we're both only going to make it through 10 minutes.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, if any of you would like to email us your review of us or 1990s TV shows,
Or want to complain that I only watch 10 minutes of things before I bail. Not going to change.
you can email us at nowin-scenario-podcast@gmail.com. But today, did that make you feel good?
Yes.
That made you feel good?
Yeah.
And that's
No,
why
that
we're
was
here.
great.
Oh, this is the happiest he's been all day.
Mm-hmm.
He just walked in here, just a sourpuss face, and just threw a fit. Am I wrong?
No, I did not throw a
No?
fit.
How many of my toys have you knocked down today?
5.
5. Okay.
5 more to go.
Well, going back to our clip show episode, part 2, Derek Tyler Attico, author, the autobiography of Benjamin Sisko,
Yep.
Deep Space Nine, one of my favorite Star Treks.
I think one of the best episodes we ever did.
Oh, yeah. Why do you think that?
He was so engaging, and I just think we were both inspired by it. And the whole thing I felt worked together really well. I really enjoyed that episode so much.
Me too. And this was back when we were just doing audio podcasts, but we do have some Zoom recordings. So that's why we'll share a little bit from Derek right now. Some criticism of the show, the finale, was that he abandoned his newborn child, his son, his wife, which wasn't good for, at the time there was a lot of like racial implications about why are we showing this African-American man doing this. Now, the flip side is he, quote, died a hero, saving everybody, but because of his alien background, he's in the temple. And what I like about what you did is this kind of closes that, so it's not like he just disappeared and that's it. I mean, yes, there's been other stories and novels and things you can read, but that element of talking to his son and closing that and not ending that finale, I think, for me, was a great move on your part.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And I listened or actually watched an interview with Ira Stephen Burr, showrunner, and of course one of the writers for Star Trek: Deep Space Nine, and he expressed that it was never the intention to have a play on the fact that there's an African American man leaving his son. The writers of Deep Space Nine, their intention was that it would be a mythological elevation.
Right. This captain became a god, right?
For this captain to become a god, right?
So I've seen the same thing, yeah. So
right.
now we are making a captain a god, yeah.
Exactly. That was always the intention, and so I believe Ira Stephen Bear said that Avery Brooks spoke to him and said, well, it also will look like this thing, and so that's where they changed the line where Sisko says, I'll be back. I don't know. Yesterday or a year from now, right? But I will be back. And so, me as a writer and understanding all of that, and taking all of this in, said, okay, I don't, I'm not actually taking him out of the wormhole, but I can actually give the reader some insight into what he is thinking. He, being Ben, is thinking as soon as he gets there. And the first thing he's thinking is, this message is for my son. Here I am. I'm going to send this message to my son actually before I speak to Cassidy.
How did you get yourself inside Sisko's head to write the story? And why was it important for you to tell Sisko's story?
Oh, wow. That's a Don, those are great questions.
Eric, I'm a professional here. I'm a professional sci-fi.
I see that.
Low budget. Trevor,
I see that.
Trevor's shaking his head in disgust. Yeah.
Stop placating his ego, Derek. It is not good for your career. It is not good for anything.
Well, I'm going to cater to both of you guys. So
yes.
get ready.
Yes.
He said yes.
My favorite guest.
On top of that, this is the 30th anniversary,
right,
of Deep Space Nine. So, there are certain expectations, right? So, I wanted to meet them and hopefully exceed them. So I looked to Joseph, and Joseph opened incredible doors for me, because then I realized through Joseph, I could explain a lot of things about Louisiana, about Earth. I could talk about the African American experience. I could talk about the Black experience in the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th centuries. And because Joseph has a lot of things going on in the Sisko family, until up to Joseph, has a certain amount of trauma that's going on in the family for not wanting to leave Earth, and why they don't want to leave Earth. And I think Ben and his father have a really interesting conversation. He says where Joseph doesn't want him to leave Earth, and Ben is like, I have to go for the same reasons you don't want me to go, or the reasons I have to leave. So Joseph opened a lot of doors for me. And I'm very thankful to the writers of Deep Space Nine for the characters that they started and they laid out, because without that, it just gave me so much material to just dive and delve into. To go back to one of your first parts of this question, what does it mean to me?
Yeah.
It means everything.
Thanks again for doing the show, Derek. Next up is Todd A. Marks from Season 1, Computer Video Playback Supervisor on Star Trek Picard. I remember me asking a lot of boring questions.
Very boring questions back then.
I couldn't help it.
You've done a much better job of talking less.
Thank you.
We all appreciate very much. I found him very interesting, actually, because it's not a job a lot of people know about, and he's done like Anchorman 2 and like a lot of different shows, and it's a very interesting piece of like the filmmaking production puzzle.
Right. And I was very excited that he worked on Star Trek The Motion Picture, and I tried to talk about it and you both shut me down and said, this is not what this episode is about.
Speaking of shutting you down, should we listen to a little bit of Todd?
Yes. Let's go to a clip of Todd.
Hi, my name is Todd Marks. I'm a computer video playback supervisor and also a projection mapping specialist. And I've been working in the film and television industry for about 30 years now, professionally. I started shooting videos back in the early 80s and moved to LA in 88 to finish my schooling and then get into the industry, which I was able to do. So that's a little bit about me.
Are there a lot of you out there doing what you do in Hollywood?
There are not. There are certainly a variety of different. There's probably a good handful of top tier playback people. There's a lot of guys. There's a playback, or men and women, playback technicians, playback engineers. There's not a lot who kind of span all the different things that I do, as far as there's some that are very technical. I mix the creative aspects of overseeing the creation of the content and mixing the newer technologies or the appropriate technologies for whatever the project is. And again, that's not particularly unique. There are a handful who do that. But just, I think my background and all the different types of things that I kind of bring in is unique. It's not like a normal 9 to 5 job. You're
Right.
in the intense, environment, and you're doing these like incredible things oftentimes. And, and now with Star Trek, you get like fan adoration and, all this other positives. And people, really finding what you do fascinating, and then dealing with, then you got to come back to reality and live as a normal person in a house, and changes your, you kind of, it's been very difficult at times where, you get angry and frustrated because it's like, this one place I'm treated this way, and in this other place I'm treated, at home, it's like not, you don't get that.
You're a mere mortal at home.
Yes, exactly. And so and it's a tired, you're tired and don't want to necessarily have to deal with all these other issues at home. And so, yeah, there is a definite level of understanding and stress that is involved in this.
Are you diagnosed with ADHD?
Oh yeah, I've from a very, very, very early age, my mom had done her thesis paper on it. So, when I was in grade school, it was very obvious that, I had what they called learning disabled, which is what it used to be called, hyperactive learning disabled, and then I got to go to once a week where you got to go to a different program at a different school for the gifted kids. And, that's actually where I first got to, they had like a little TV studio at this school with like 3 cameras and a little control room switcher thing, where I first got to actually do that back in grade school. So I've had to deal with that my whole life.
It's amazing that you had the resources that, because I've only been diagnosed with it in the past few years, and I'm in my late 40s, and even coming up in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't really talked about that much. It was being talked about more, but it still wasn't talked about that much.
Yeah. I was fortunate in that my mom was, a marriage family therapist who was into the transactional, the TA for teens and TA for tots. And, and we used to have encounter groups that she was involved in the 70s. And, so I grew up in that kind of environment. My dad was a aerospace engineer at Lockheed, and my mom was, this therapist. So they always had their little struggles as well, because different personalities. So yeah, I was kind of used to that growing up.
You've worked with auteurs like Danny Boyle and Steven Soderbergh, one of my favorite filmmakers. You've worked with craftspeople like Stuart Baird and Mimi Letter.
You want to comment on that one?
and Mimi Letter. Stuart Baird.
His editing skills.
Well, I was just gonna say he's one of the great editors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not who you want to direct Star Trek. You typically not a great idea to get a first-time director who hates Star Trek to direct a Star Trek.
So yeah, I didn't even know that.
Thanks again, Todd, for doing the show. And up next, Jeremy Benning. Jeremy is someone who I've known through the internet for a number of years. I first came to know him as the cinematographer of The Expanse. Have you seen The Expanse?
Yes.
I love that show. Oh, I've got the Rocinante right here, everyone. And he's worked on The Boys. He's done documentaries and films and TV up in Canada. And let's hear a little bit from Jeremy Benning.
My name is Jeremy Benning. I'm a director of photography. I live in Toronto, Ontario. I shoot a lot of episodic television. I've got a history of doing commercials and music videos and documentaries, and it sort of led me to working on a lot of long form projects for various streaming platforms. There, and remember too, the first 2 seasons of Expanse, I did them by myself. I didn't have an alternate DP, which at the time I didn't know any better, and it was crazy that I did that, but I did. And after the second season, I'm like, I can't do that anymore. But I think Jason Brown, one of our producers, said that from the first season to the last season, something like they had like 80% crew retention.
Wow.
Which is that's like several hundred people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Stayed. And that's very unusual for a show, an episodic TV show. And that speaks to the story we were telling, that everyone wanted to be there telling it, that the people running it were running it in a way that everyone wanted to stay and continue to work with them. It wasn't a toxic place. It was a functional, collaborative, enjoyable work environment. And that's why I kept going back. And it was always like, well, what else would I be doing? There was nothing else that came along that was better. And I did do other things in between. So I used the time I had off, because we would have months of downtime between seasons. And the thing is, we never knew if the show was going to be renewed each season until the last second. So usually like we'd wrap, then there'd be like 3-4 months of post, and whatever the last window of time, like where the network had to tell us if we were being renewed or not, it was always like the midnight of the day before they would say, okay, you're renewed. So there'd be months in between where we all
Or
just
Amazon
didn't know.
picking it up, right?
And then Amazon after season 3, but with Sci-Fi originally, Sci-Fi wouldn't tell us until like literally their contractual final day of when they can tell us, which was like months after we
Wow.
wrapped. So nobody knew if we were going back to it each
The
year.
job insecurity is just for everybody. It's just got
It's job insecurity. So I
Yeah.
would take other things in between, and I made a conscious effort to take things that were very not sci-fi. So I did The Long Road Home. I did The Boys. I did other things in between the seasons of Expanse, so I could kind of just try other things and not be just so the sci-fi person. And I was asked to do Star Trek when the new Star Trek came along. I was asked to do the first season of Star Trek because I had just done The Expanse, and they were actually building. We were at Pinewood.
Which one, Picard or Strange New Worlds?
No, Next Generation. The first one, Next Generation.
okay.
Discovery. Sorry,
Discovery.
That was the first thing that they started, and they were actually building the sets at Pinewood. We were at Pinewood, and they were like across the way in the same complex building the sets for that. And so we were like seeing them building the sets while we were actually filming the first season of Expanse. And they asked me if I wanted to. Like, I was approached by the show, and it was a tough decision, but I thought, well, here's a show that I'm on that we've built ourselves from the ground up. It's a small family. We're doing something new. I have a very good relationship with the creative team. If I go to Star Trek, they're basically wanting me to go to that show to take the ideas that I've got from Expanse and inject it into Star Trek to give it a new thing.
Interesting.
But I'd also would lose my creative power in a sense, because it's a much bigger machine. It's a legacy show. You're dealing with a giant committee of people, and it's also something that's been done for decades. And I really felt that The Expanse was something special, and I should stay with it. So I against the better advice of some of my colleagues and representatives and stuff, they were like, what are you crazy? Like, you got to take this. This is the prestige show that everybody wants to be on. And I'm like, I think I should stay with The Expanse. I think there's a lot more healthy choices being made. I see people, the drug and alcohol thing, I see less of now. I mean, earlier in my career, I was aware of a lot of people who drank heavily and would come to work smelling like booze or hungover. Like, it was a constant culture in our business, and I see a lot less of that now. I think the pandemic gave us all a reset in a good way. I think people started to appreciate their personal lives more. There's certainly a lot more talk of people taking, like I see it on my crew where like the grips and lighting and camera department, where one of the heads of those departments, like, oh, so and so isn't coming in tomorrow because they need to take some time, or they've got a thing going on. So and of course they come to me, is that okay? Or one of my keys will say, hey, I need a day tomorrow. I got to go. I have this appointment, or I got to deal with my kids thing or whatever. And of course I say, yeah, of course. Like, I never say no to that, because I know what it's like because I don't have that luxury as the DP. I can't do that really very easily to say, hey, I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. So when someone in one of my departments asks for that, I say, of course, like, I understand, so I think
they ask for a good reason. They have a good reason they'll
tell me, like, like my kid has a thing, or I've got to go to this, like, a dance recital, whatever, some important thing with their kid, or they have whatever. I always say, yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I understand what it takes to be in this business, and I don't want to keep people from those kind of things. And I think it's gotten better. There's a lot more awareness of mental health. It's more openly discussed, I think. Even with the sort of the more macho departments, like the grips and stuff like that. I can see that those people, and there's a lot of women in those departments now too. It's become a lot more diverse, that there's more of an awareness of your mental state. It's not perfect by any means, but certainly compared to what it was 20 years ago, it's a lot better.
Thanks again, Jeremy. And up next, Trevor, is something a little different. We talked to Kent Sanderson, someone I know back from my college days, who is the president of acquisitions and ancillary distribution at Bleecker Street, a distribution company for film. And they've been doing really well, and they start to branch out into science fiction more and more. And let's hear what Ken had to say to us.
I am Kent Sanderson. I am the president of acquisitions and ancillary distribution at the indie film studio Bleecker Street. My job encompasses overseeing all of our productions as well as any films we acquire finished. And I also oversee all revenue streams outside of the initial theatrical release. So that includes streaming, VOD, exciting things like airlines and army bases, sort of everything in that universe. It's because when I'm usually less worried. Actually, I'll say this: I have two moments where I'm the most stressed. One is when I see a director's cut of a movie for the first time. Where I'm just like, I dragged the whole company into this movie. I hope it's good, or I hope doesn't cause problems. And usually, when I get about halfway through a cut, I'll sort of know the dread will either increase or dissipate depending on what I'm seeing. So like I watched the director's cut of a film 2 days ago, and I was like, I had this sort of just sinking feeling all morning long, and I realized like, oh yeah, it's because I have to go to the screening room and watch this movie. Fortunately, I was very happy with the cut, but that's always the toughest. And then the other toughest part is honestly when the film is released and you start to see the numbers come in, if it's going to work or not. We definitely had some successes this year, and we had some movies which really underperformed, and those are tough, especially as an independent company. And the bigger the bet you make, both in terms of the budget of the movie and your marketing spend, the bigger the stakes are, and it can be pretty scary when something doesn't really connect. Like this year, the film we did with Toni Collette, Mafia Mama.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that one up. I'm actually still looking forward to seeing that. I ride or die for Toni Collette. I was curious how that was for you guys.
It was one of these things where the movie came out to be kind of exactly what we signed up for. It's funny. She's fantastic in it.
Of course.
Everyone had a great time making it. And we committed more on that for marketing than we basically had any other movie we've done in years, and believed it could cross over into the mainstream. And I think we just got blindsided by the reviews. We knew that not everyone's going to be a fan. It's a very silly movie on purpose. And the reviewers really just went out for blood on it. I think that really hurt the performance of the film. So that was our big disappointment this year, even though loved working with Tony and Catherine Hardwick and the producers. It's just sometimes you just get surprised by things, and that was not a good surprise. One of the things that I learned early in my career, which was literally the way that General Electric, which owned NBC Universal at the time, considered movies to be profitable. And their metric was the green light model at the base case of box office and VOD and all that stuff. You have to earn basically 15% on your investment. Not a huge return, but remember, movies are expensive, so 15% is okay. Sort of like when Westerns fell out of favor, something else had to replace them as sort of the go-to form of entertainment. I'm curious what comes after superhero movies, but I'm not as concerned about the future of the mid-level, indie style movie, because I think the one thing I've learned over the last couple of years is if you get into something that you believe in, with a filmmaker you believe in, and you believe that there is a core audience, even if it's just one core audience that's going to show up to the movie or rent it on VOD, then there's a sustainable business model there.
Thanks, Ken, for doing the show. We really appreciate it. And finally, we have Brian Tam, a personal friend of mine. But
I'm not one, just for the record.
But
because I hate you.
He runs the Independent Film Festival Boston, which has 2 festivals a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. And we talked to him about science fiction in the indie world. And mostly Don and Brian talked about how Dune 1984 is a great movie. And I just wanted to cut my own head off the entire time.
That's a little dramatic, sir.
It was true.
Why don't you like it? Like, what is their problem in 10 words or less?
You can feel. He's
counting with his fingers.
It's
just in case you're listening and not watching.
Was a production. It's going to go over 10. You can tell it was a production.
Can you talk into your microphone, sir?
Lynch.
There's a microphone's right here.
You can tell that Lynch lost control of the production. You can feel it. You can feel the entire film from the beginning slipping away from him. Right away when it opens up with that expository scene with what's her name looking into the camera and
what's her name?
Saying,
know that it is the year 10,191. The known universe is ruled by the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, my father. That opening?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then if I remember correctly, because the last time I saw it was with you in the theater and I just wanted to die. Doesn't the last 20 minutes just run through like 10 books?
No. Have you read the books?
No.
I will lend you my copies.
No, I don't want to.
We'll have a podcast of just you trying to read the first page.
That's funny. Yeah, sure. I find it to be very messy, and I don't think it. It has a creative look to it.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Trevor. It's a clip show. Should we get to our clip?
Sure.
You want to thank you, Brian?
Thank you, Brian.
Let's hear from Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian Tam. I'm the executive director of the Independent Film Festival Boston.
Both Dawn and Brian think that Dune 1984 is absolutely brilliant. And when they met that night at the Brattle Theater, that was their first time that they met. About halfway through the film, I looked over and they were holding hands and they were wiping.
I was going to say, we have a love you'll never understand, Trevor.
They were wiping each other's their tears of joy off each other's faces. And I sat there and I was like, this is insufferable. This is ridiculous. The point of this is that Dune 2 is now out. And I loved it. And I believe, Brian, you loved Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2, yes?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So I guess, look, I get that people don't like Dune. I get it. Like, I get it. I get that it's not. I get that it's flawed. I get that for someone who hasn't read the books, it's completely incomprehensible. I totally understand that. But
Trevor hasn't read the books.
I have not.
So he has no context.
I do feel, because I've had this experience, like watching it at the Brattle, where people I know came up to me and they're like, okay, like, I don't know what the hell happened. And like, what is this? And what is this one? Like, I totally get that. But I also feel that it does capture, I mean, keep in mind, Herbert was on set while this was being made. And Herbert, when he saw, I think he probably saw like an early rough cut, like maybe like the 5-hour cut. And he loved it. And I think he even understood that, like, look, you can't, a book is a book and a movie is a movie. And they kind of are doing two different things.
The way I see it is, the new one, he wanted to focus on the Bene Gesserit and sort of one pillar of the society from the book series. But what I think made the book very interesting is it wasn't just the Bene Gesserit. It was the Bene Gesserit. It was the Mentats. It was the balance between the emperor and the different houses, but also the Chom. There was this Chom company contract, right, that they have in the 84 one. Like, it was about the Landsrat and how, the emperor was worried that the Atreides was becoming popular amongst the other great houses, that he was a threat, not that he led with love or whatever Christopher Walken said that I needed cut out of that new film.
But also like the Spacing Guild. I mean,
and the guild was right. Exactly. Go ahead. Yeah.
In a sense of he's the emperor, but he's still beholden to other people. And I think what I love so much about Herbert's book is it's so interested in politics. And I mean, to the point that in the book, the Baron is, spoiler alert, the Baron is killed basically off screen. Like, he doesn't care about the specifics. The Baron is dead. Now, what does that mean for the politics? That's the thing that intrigues him. So I think both of these filmmakers, both Villeneuve and Lynch, have to take the story and be like, okay, like, this is a book of ideas. How do we make this kind of into a movie that's got images in it? And I feel like what Lynch tried to do is focus on, like, okay, where are all the action parts in it that we can make kind of a traditional science fiction, and then we'll kind of pump it full of voiceovers to kind of maybe explain things through. And I think what Villeneuve did is said, well, let's just talk, like, let's make this more character based, and we're going to write dialogue that isn't in the book, but gives you a sense of who these people are without having to have a big exposition dump or without having to have a voiceover. And I think they both come at it differently, and I think they're both successful in their own way.
They absolutely are. I just wish the guild was involved because I feel like that was such a just so missing in this, so missing, and would make the world so much richer and give it so much more scope versus just like the Emperor lives in a house on some random planet. I don't know. It felt a little shallow on that front.
Thank you, Brian, for being on the show.
Thank you, Brian.
Yep, thank you. And I guess that does it for this episode.
That does it for Clip Show Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
We've now caught up with all our previous guests.
Mm-hmm.
What does the future hold for you, Trevor?
More episodes of No Win Scenario. I think that's probably all I've got on the docket right now.
That's not true. You could clean my duckies.
Yeah.
Want to just like clean them?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're going to pay well?
You heard from past guests who I've worked with. The answer is no to that. We all know that. But are you looking forward to more episodes? Now, what's your preference? Do you like the news desk? Do you like our old set? Do you like to be at home?
I don't like either of them. I like the Zoom.
You like the Zoom? Why is that?
Because I don't have to wake up early and come here.
Wake up early. His call time was 11 a.m.
Yeah, but I woke up very early to get ready for this.
Was it the anxiety?
Yes.
Would you like to talk about it with our guests?
No,
I would not. Our viewers,
I would not like to talk about my anxiety disorder with our guests.
You know, I think this episode is really about interviewing Trevor here. So, Trevor, why don't you tell us what's wrong with you? Let me rephrase that. How dare you?
Yeah.
And what's wrong with you?
We don't have 8 hours.
Just 8 hours?
Yeah.
I think I could diagnose you as a non-professional in moments.
Oh, that's so bad.
That's bad?
Yeah.
Should we cut that out?
No.
No, it's staying in.
Yeah.
I'm still going back a couple episodes where you were trying to embarrass me with some made-up falsehoods, and now I'm just taking out my revenge.
That's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything to say to the audience? Keep sending mail.
We're going to be back soon. Keep sending mail.
No Win Scenario Podcast at gmail.com.
Keep listening. We'll keep fighting and disagreeing with each other in the meantime.
They can also watch because, this is being video recorded.
Yep,
You got that?
Watch now.
Watch and listen.
Yay. And we hope you all come back, and all 3 of you. And
more than 3. We see you.
We see you very much. And we'll miss you. Season 3, here we come.
Would you like to maybe thank the crew who's working here on a Monday?
Thank your crew.
To make you look good?
Thank you. I'm too embarrassed to...
You're too embarrassed?
I'm too embarrassed to say anything to them because I feel so bad.
Thank you, Andrew, John, Ian, Morgan, Casey, everyone at Charles River Media.
Thank you, everybody.
Can we plug Charles River Media? One more time.
Please.
One more time.
Thank you, everybody at Charles River Media.
And
I feel
don't forget,
so bad. I genuinely
merch coming soon.
So bad.
No Win Scenario merch.
Yeah,
Your
with
cover?
words that are misspelled on them.
How's that smell? I haven't washed that since the last time I wore it. It's sitting in my office. You've got Dawn odor all around you right now. You can take that home.
I genuinely feel bad for everybody on your crew. This is so unnecessary.
What do you think about this little camera here that's going back and forth? Here it comes with a globe. Take a look. Globe number 1. Look at this. Look at this artistic touch.
I'm going to ask our camera operator, who is just suffering over there.
He really wants to go to lunch.
How long, Ian, did it take to set all this up this morning?
2 hours.
8:30 had to unload and then set up.
8:30.
So it took 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours to set up.
Yeah.
And now they're just breaking down. They're just walking in the studio. We're not done here yet. Are we still rolling? Because we're trying to stop here. They're getting burritos. We're still rolling, John?
I think still rolling.
Thumbs up. Literally had our sound guy walk in the door from the control room to order a burrito. That is the respect
that we need to end here.
I think it's time to go. It's burrito o'clock.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect
So
ending.
from all of us and none of us.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Season 3.
I get the last word.
Okay.
Boom.
Boom.
In today's world, mental health is everyone's concern. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please use these resources. For U.S. listeners, call 1-800-950-6264 or text Helpline, all one word, HELPLINE, to 62640 or email helpline at NAMI.org. That's NAMI.org. For our international listeners, please visit suicidestop.com. That's SUICIDESTOP.com.